From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. An update tonight from the state's largest wildfire burning south of Red Lodge. The Robertson Draw fire is now 53% contained as fire crews make significant progress. But many are left reeling from the damage left behind. Now, those flames burned nearly 30,000 acres and took with them family homes and cabins. Today, Q2's Brandon Warren got a first-hand look at some of that damage left behind.
Since its onset, the Robertson Draw fire has devastated the Beartooth Mountains and surrounding communities. Now it's time to take a look at just how bad this fire is.
So as we sit right now, the fire is just shy of 30,000 acres. There were unfortunately 10 homes, close to 10 homes that were burned up, 30 structures total. We're at 53% contained. We have dozer lining around a good portion of it, and we're prepping the other divisions, doing structure protection.
Feldman says he feels good about the state of the fire and is working hard to continue building and fortifying containment lines.
Our team times out. We transition Tuesday. We'll have another team in place. They're going to shadow us for a day, and then we're going to hand it off to them and hand them off a good package to where we have a good structure protection plan in place and good line.
The replacement team will also be Type 2, but the number of crew members is unknown. Feldman also wants to remind landowners about the importance of prepping your yard for fire season.
Being fire-wise and prepping your property, the brush and fuel breaks around your property is a great idea. It looks like we're going to have a hot season.
Based on observation, yard prep seemed to keep some homeowners safe, as flames came within a few hundred feet of their property, but homes looked untouched. In Belfry, Brandon Warren, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Brandon. Now, all evacuation warnings, fire bans, and Custer Gallatin National Forest closures remain in effect. Well, today's conditions eerily similar to 33 years ago today when the first fires at Yellowstone National Park broke out. Q2's Shaquille Cozart spoke with a former Q2 staff member who spearheaded news coverage for the community and is now helping to battle the state's wildfires.
Today marks the anniversary of the Yellowstone Park fires of 1988 that affected roughly 1 million acres of the area. And while many people may have stories of what they heard and even saw that day, we hear from one person who had a big part in bringing that news to the community.
I'm Al Nash with this special report on the fires which have plagued the northeast corner of Yellowstone.
Former Q2 News Director Al Nash said the fires of 1988 were unlike any other fires reported on years prior and was the biggest of those fires in the West since 1910.
1988 was a watershed year for wildland fire, not just for Yellowstone National Park, but for all of the land management agencies.
According to the National Park Service, the fire started in mid-June of 1988 of natural causes. Park managers and fire behavioral specialists allowed the 18 lightning-caused blazes to burn until July 15th, when it was announced that no new naturally caused fires would be allowed to burn due to the unexpected dry spell in July.
We were all impacted for several weeks by the Yellowstone fire. It impacted the economy, it impacted the air quality, and you didn't have to be right next to the park to notice what was happening.
Nash said that getting coverage of the blaze to the community had its challenges. He said that after a few weeks of the initial start of the blaze, when Yellowstone started to really suppress the fire, was when coverage of the events in the newsroom started to ramp up.
We had at least a news crew in Yellowstone almost every day for weeks. We rented motel rooms in Red Lodge to have people sleep there and to edit tape and bring them back and forth from buildings. For a while, we were chartering private aircraft to bring tape out of West Yellowstone until that option was closed off.
Nash said that this was an incredibly important and once-in-a-lifetime story for the Q2 News team who helped bring information to the community about the 1988 Yellowstone fires. Reporting in Billings, I'm Shaquille Cozart with MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Shaq. Now, those fires burned until the middle of September that year when snow started to fall. Well, now turning to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh in the Weather Center. Even after 33 years, the fires are still affecting the look of the land there.
They certainly are. Let's take a look and see what the part of the region looked like in 1987 before the fires. The dark greens show where we had a lot of old growth, big old pine trees, and a lot of underbrush through the area. So we're going to move the picture ahead to when the fires were started in 1988. You can see the areas that are burned and still see a lot of the smoke coming from the surface. By the following year, where you see all those red areas, those are burn scars where the ground is burned so much that nothing will grow there. Now take a look as we take it through time over the years. As it continued to progress, slowly those burn scars started to give way to the potential of new growth starting to move back in again. But they come in much lighter across the area, and we'll continue to watch the influence of that even as we take it out even into last year. You can see where some of those burn areas are still showing up as some of those brown shaded areas, especially areas towards the eastern portion of the region. You'll see that here where there's some new growth starting to move in, starting to show some changes, but that effect still there 33 years later. Thunderstorms in the area. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, more details tonight about a late-night shootout in downtown Billings that left one man dead and another man in the hospital. It all happened about 11:45 last night in the parking lot off North 27th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue North. Now, that parking lot between Jake's and the Burger Dive, littered with evidence tags, remained closed off most of the day as police investigated. Yellowstone County Coroner Cliff Mahoney says 22-year-old Thaddeus Merritt died at the hospital from multiple gunshot wounds. Mahoney says Merritt is originally from the Chicago area, but also has a Billings address. An 18-year-old Billings man who has not yet been identified remains in the hospital tonight. Police are still investigating and have not released details on a possible motive. And Billings police are asking for your help tonight to find a missing child. 12-year-old Cyril Plainbull was last seen walking the area of the 1700 block of Avenue B. Now, Plainbull was wearing dark-colored clothes and is described as 5 feet 8 inches tall and is about 110 pounds. Anyone with information is asked to call the Billings police. Well, despite the heat, we hope you join us at Symphony in the Park this Sunday. Pioneer Park will once again fill with music as the Billings Symphony takes the stage. In tonight's Positively Montana, Q2's Russ Riesinger profiles one member of the organization who's not a musician, but has helped bring music to a lot of people over the years.
Music is capable of moving us in many different ways. Just ask Candy Holzer.
I think just seeing the children's eyes when they try an instrument, that's the first thing that I'm so impressed by. They make one note out of a trumpet and they're so excited.
After 27 years as a school teacher, Candy found a new career as the Education Outreach Director for the Billings Symphony, starting up programs to take music into schools, hospitals, and nursing homes, and working with diverse populations like dementia patients.
But they would come out, and they'd begrudgingly come out and sit in their chair, and then I'd give them a drum, and they would start playing it right away. And then we always had a couple of musicians to play some background music for them, and then they would get started with the beat. And it was great, especially when they got up to dance.
Helping spread the magic of music has been one of the most rewarding parts of the job, she says, traveling to other communities away from Billings and also into some places that you might not expect.
My main baby is I developed a guitar program at the women's prison. And over the last 7 years, we've been teaching the ladies guitar lessons. We've had women leave and teach guitar. We've had women leave and play guitar at their church. We've had women who are interested in composers because of the guitar class, and they drew pictures. In fact, I brought some of them today. She did it out of mascara. Wow. And something else. It's just bringing the joy of music to enrich their lives. We hope that when they leave the prison, they'll continue. And I just remember going past the prison on my way into work, and I always thought, I wish I could serve those ladies in some way, because all of us are a little distance from going to prison sometime in their life. And
After 16 years of serving others with the Symphony, Candy is retiring from full-time work. She was diagnosed with a serious form of cancer and given 4 months to live. But that was 2 years ago, and she's still hanging in there and still believing in the power of music.
I'll miss everything. I'll miss the musicians. I'm going to cry. I'll miss the staff. I'll just miss everything. It's the best job anybody could ever have. It's just been totally enjoyable for me.
In Billings, I'm Russ Friesinger reporting for MTN News.
Great story. Thanks so much, Russ.